Welcome back. Welcome back, CP19 family. So, we have been in the series of the characteristics of passion development. It's been really an adventure trying to hone in on all of those things that may have caused you to not get specifically to the place that you need to be career wise. And so, all of us have been there. I definitely have been there and I can attest to it. If ever we schedule a consultation together, maybe we could share some of those amazing, I have to stay positive here, those amazing experiences that I've had that has pushed me closer to my purpose. So let's talk characteristics of passion development. Throughout some time now, like the past week on my Facebook page, I've been just dropping little nuggets about how passion can affect us. How do we develop? How do we even find out what is it that I like? I heard someone tell me, I don't know how to do anything. That is so bunk. You may not think that you know how to do anything, but there's something deep down inside each and every person that has to be developed, that has to be nurtured, that has to be cultivated. You just may not be able to identify it. And maybe you just have not found it. Maybe it was never planted. I always go back to the word of God whenever I talk about a plant and the watering and the produce. But listen, just in real life, you take a seed, you put it in the ground, you put some water, you cultivate it. Maybe you're going to put some nutrition there. There's going to be some sun, and it's going to come out into this beautiful plant. Right? Right. You plant a tree, it's going to harvest some fruit if it's well taken care of. Sometimes there's some natural disasters, i.e., life, that may occur that kind of knock you off path. But does that mean that seeds cannot be planted on that same ground again? No, it definitely does not know that. It definitely does not mean that. So, in talking passion development, guys, it's so important to understand that passion sometimes you just stumble across something that you enjoy. You don't know that you're enjoying it. I mean, that is something that you will enjoy until you actually experience it. I didn't know that I enjoyed doing hair until my mom, who used to always make me roll my hair on rollers. My sister absolutely hated rolling her hair on rollers. Meanwhile, I began to create me an entire regimen. I had my hair oil, I had my curling iron, because I wasn't just gonna put my hair on the rollers. I was gonna curl it first because I realized that my curls would be prettier if I hot curled it first, then put the rollers on after I did all my other stuff, right? And then tied my hair up. And then the next day, when I took my curls loose apart and started to style them, they were so much more prettier because I took more steps to make sure that I managed my hair properly. It's the same thing with life. Um, I realized that, wait a minute, I like this. I planned, okay, my regimen is I'm going to wash my hair first. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to use this conditioner. Okay, I'm going to make sure my ends are clipped. Once it dried, I'm going to put my curls. I'm going to oil my scalp. I'm going to moisturize and massage. Then I'm going to brush it. Then I'm going to part into my sections and I'm going to, do you see where I'm going? Steps. And I then realized I like this. Fast forward years down the line, I became a hairstylist. Sometimes it was more difficult than other times. And I remember getting my first job as a hairstylist here in Baton Rouge, and it was Joan Lewis of Mohair, the late Joan Lewis, rest in peace, Joan, who gave me an opportunity. And it was my friend Ala Terry. He too has gone on um, and has passed away. But he was like, girl, you are a fire braider. Okay. At that point, you didn't have to be a licensed braider in order to braid hair. And he saw me braiding my daughter's hair, my sister's hair, everybody's hair, my own hair. And he was like, my friend Joan needs a braider. I want you to visit her. Just me, fresh into Baton Rouge, visited her. And she said, I'm working on a client now. Braid a full circle and do 2 lines on the side. She timed me. I braided it, knocked it out the park, hired. I wasn't even applying for a job, but she hired me. We began building a relationship from that moment on. And I began to get exposed to some things. I knew I loved product. I knew I loved to curl my own hair. But would I like to curl somebody else's? I hated curling my sister's hair. But as we began to work in the hair studio, and in between clients, she would do clients that was um, like hair extension clients. So once I braided them, there was like time in between until the next client came. So being that I was her personal assistant, there was not much for me to do except make sure that her station was in order, refill shampoo bottles and things like that. While I was doing that, and I didn't like it, but while I was doing that, I began to read the labels of products, i.e., Bert, my love. I realized that my passion in hair was product knowledge. I began to read the labels. I began to learn more about it. I began to know which products you put with other products to get this result. And then the light bulb went off in my head, and I made an analogy, an association rather. I was like, this is what I loved about doing my own hair, because I tried different things and I finally found something that worked, and the results was great. That brings me to the second characteristic. Okay. The first characteristic, rebrief, passion often develops accidentally. So the second one, it takes encouragement and exposure. If I would not have been encouraged by Terry, who said, you really can braid some hair. And so he introduced me to his friend who said, you knocked it out the park, hired. That was encouragement. But then, in the midst of that encouragement, in between those clients, things got a little rough. It was boring. I didn't want to sweep floors. I didn't want to clean rollers. I was like, I just want to do hair. And I'm feeling shampoo bottles and wiping them off and cleaning out the sinks and wiping off the stools and the headrests and the inside of dryers and detangling weave that's matted up that somebody left in their hair too long. Frustrating. This is not the colorful hairdresser that I thought I would be able to be. Or was it? Brings me to number 3. Passion isn't always enjoyable. It begins by an interest that you just have like this little nudge. It begins with an interest, and you're like, I like this. But then the deeper you get in it, the more you realize that it's hard work. Now, here's the thing, if you are willing to continue showing up and to continue pushing through, there's something inside of you that make you want to keep going back, it could possibly be your passion. There may even be aspects of the activity that you don't like, and it's okay. Or it could feel like it's a chore. That's okay. But the level of passion develops as you begin to love it even more. The benefits outweigh the cost. Period. The benefits was I gained more clients. I learned more things. More people wanted to come to me. And before you knew it, I wasn't just braiding her clients' hair. I had my own braid clients. Then it went a little further than that. One day I was told mix 4R/30. And I would hear these formulas rattling across. Now keep in mind, I was a braider. I wasn't a licensed stylist at first. I was a braider. Okay. You didn't have to be licensed to be a braider. I was told to mix a color. And she taught me how to mix the color, how to measure, how much ounces of color, how much ounces of developer, how many ounces of developer, how to stir it to make sure that it was prepped and prepared. So I would mix her color, I bring it to her station with her gloves and whatever else that she needed. And then I would end up next applying the color. And before you knew it, I began an interest in color. I started mixing color to try different things on myself. Still love color today. A new skill was cultivated. So I was no longer just a braider, but I began to grow and learn more about color. And before you knew it, I became certified to be a colorist. And then it went a step further than that. I realized I love natural hair, and that natural hair did what it wanted, what you wanted it to do. That it was more healthy when it was in its natural state versus when it was in a processed state. There birthed a natural hairstylist, even when natural wasn't cool. You see, passion doesn't require a talent or a skill at first. When you first beginning at anything, it starts out as something that you're probably not that good at. Passion has to start with a play. You have to be willing to explore. You have to be willing to take the good with the bad. You have to be willing to evaluate. Um, Even sometimes in situations where there's some level of an ability that may be required, a natural ability, the true essence of that skill and talent over time begins to develop. Over time. How many of you ever heard that the more you do something, the better you're at, the better you are at it? It's true. Think about when you started to drive a car. When you learned how to drive, you did not just acquire your parents' keys, get in the car, start it up, and start driving. No, you practiced driving. I did. And I realized I would not want to be a driver. Every chance I get to get on the passenger side of my vehicle, I am there. So it brings me to point number 5, that passion takes practice. If you're passionate about something, you have to become proficient in whatever it is that you want to do. In order for proficiency to develop, which proficiency is going to invite a deeper level of exploration, and it further develops your passion. Time and effort, like I said before, it has to be applied. Hmm. You ever heard of no pain, no gain? It's real. You have to push through in order to get to your purpose. It starts with a passion. Remember again, I said it's not going to always be enjoyable. It doesn't require skill. Okay, that skill can be cultivated. Not at first, it doesn't require skill. And then you realize, oh, I'm kind of good at this because you exercised it. So, the very last point that I'm so excited about is when passion is directed towards a higher purpose, a higher level of meaning and fulfillment can be achieved. Purpose amplifies your passion. I want you to think about that. Purpose amplifies your passion. So think about it. Something you absolutely love or you think you love, yeah, kind of like, and you're getting better at it, and you realize you like it, or maybe something else about it in that same area, right? But if it's meant for you to do that, if that is truly your purpose, it makes you love that thing even more. What's stopping you from getting to your purpose? What is your passion? How do you even figure out what it is? I didn't know where to start, but I do now. You can book me. I would love to sit and talk to you more about how you can be directed to figure out what that passion is to get closer to your purpose. I'm ready to help you to develop. I'm ready to help you grow. We are so much better together. CP19 Consultant, I am your signature brand ambassador, image consultant, and content creator. Let me know how I can help.